Have you ever wondered how a small fire could turn into an inferno that consumed a whole city? Today, we embark on a journey back in time, to the 17th century, to explore an event that left an indelible mark on history. The Great Fire of London. An incident that started inconspicuously in a baker's shop on Pudding Lane, but quickly spiraled out of control, becoming a cataclysmic force that devoured a significant portion of the bustling city. The year was 1666, a period of history that bore witness to the rise of the British Empire, yet also the devastating fire that consumed the heart of this growing power. The Great Fire was not just an incident, it was a turning point, shaping the architectural, political, and social landscape of London. So, are you ready to uncover the mysteries of this historical event? Let's delve into the story of the Great Fire of London, a fire that changed the face of a city forever. Picture this, it's the early hours of September 2nd, 1666, and the city of London is about to wake to chaos. On this fateful night, the heart of the city was quiet, and its winding, narrow streets were deserted. The first hint of trouble began as a whisper in Thomas Farriner's bakery on Pudding Lane. A spark, a flicker, and then a flame. The fire was born, innocently enough, in the oven of the bakery. But this was no ordinary fire. It was a spark that would ignite into a catastrophe. The fire spread quickly, feasting on the dry timber of the bakery, and then greedily reaching for the neighboring buildings. It was a hot summer that year. The city had been parched by a long spell of dry weather, making the closely built wooden houses perfect kindling for the hungry flames. They stood no chance against the rapidly spreading fire. The narrow, winding streets of London, so charming by day, now became a maze of confusion and panic. The flames danced from rooftop to rooftop, leaping across the streets with an almost demonic delight. The city, which just hours before had been slumbering peacefully, now echoed with the crackling of fire and the screams of its inhabitants. By the time the first rays of dawn cut through the smoke, London was ablaze. The fire had grown, fed by the timbered houses and fanned by the wind, into a monstrous inferno. The once bustling city was now a theatre of destruction, lit by the eerie glow of the flames. Despite the efforts of the city's inhabitants, the fire was relentless. It consumed everything in its path, reducing grand houses, humble hovels, and everything in between to smouldering ruins. In just a few hours, the small bakery fire had become a rampant beast of flame and smoke, a beast that would change the face of London forever. And so the stage was set for what would come to be known as the Great Fire of London. As daylight broke, the full scale of the disaster was becoming apparent. The city of London, once a bustling hub of commerce and culture, was now a raging inferno. The Great Fire of London was not merely a fire, it was a monster that consumed everything in its path, leaving a trail of destruction and despair in its wake. The initial attempts to control the fire proved futile. The city's firefighting methods were rudimentary at best. Buckets of water were thrown in a desperate attempt to douse the flames, but the fire was relentless. It lapped up the water like a parched beast, growing bigger and stronger with every passing moment. The narrow wooden houses, packed tightly together, provided the perfect fuel for the fire, allowing it to spread rapidly across the city. Over the next 3 days, the fire raged on, uncontrolled and uncontrollable. It was a force of nature, wild and untamed, leaving nothing but ash and rubble in its path. Landmarks that had stood for centuries were reduced to ruins within hours. St. Paul's Cathedral, a beacon of faith and hope in the city, was consumed by the flames. The Royal Exchange, a symbol of the city's economic prowess, was also razed to the ground. The fire showed no mercy, no prejudice. It destroyed everything, sparing nothing and no one. The city's inhabitants watched in horror as their homes, their livelihoods, were devoured by the flames. The sky was filled with smoke, the air thick with the smell of burning wood and despair. London, once a city of life and vibrancy, was now a city of death and destruction. By the time the fire was brought under control, the heart of the city was in ruins. The Great Fire of London was a tragedy of epic proportions. It was a disaster that would forever change the face of the city. But in the ashes of the old city, a new London would rise, phoenix-like, ready to face whatever the future might hold. Imagine a city once bustling and full of life, now reduced to ashes and silence. The aftermath of the Great Fire of London was a sight of desolation and despair. The once vibrant city was now a canvas of charred remains and smoky ruins. In the cold light of dawn, the full extent of the devastation was revealed. Over 13,000 houses were destroyed, 87 churches were reduced to rubble, and numerous iconic buildings, like the Royal Exchange and the Custom House, were laid to waste. The fire had not discriminated. Rich or poor, grand or humble, the Inferno had consumed all. An estimated 70,000 out of the city's 80,000 residents found themselves homeless, their lives uprooted and their futures uncertain. The streets that once echoed with the sounds of commerce and laughter now resonated with cries of loss and desperation. Yet amid the despair, there was a glimmer of hope. The fire had cleansed the city of the plague that had once ravaged its streets. The catastrophe had cleared the way for a new beginning. The task of rebuilding the city was monumental. Yet Londoners showed an indomitable spirit. Brick by brick, stone by stone, they began to construct their lives and their city from the ashes. The city's layout was redesigned, and new building codes were implemented. Timber houses were replaced by brick or stone buildings to prevent future fires. Streets were widened and regularized, and the medieval layout was replaced with a more modern grid system. The rebuilding took a decade, but the new city that emerged was better planned, more resilient, and far grander than the one that had perished in the fire. The Phoenix of London had risen from its ashes, stronger and more magnificent than ever. Out of the ashes of the old city, a new London was born. A city that carried the scars of its past, yet stood as a testament to the resilience and spirit of its people. A city that, despite its trials and tribulations, continues to stand tall, embodying the indomitable spirit of mankind. But what does this historical event mean for us today? The Great Fire of London, a seemingly distant event in the annals of history, still resonates in our modern world. It's not just a tale of a city engulfed in flames. It's a story of resilience, adaptation, and transformation. The embers of the fire sparked a revolution in firefighting techniques and urban planning that we still see today. Before the Great Fire, firefighting was a rudimentary and disorganized effort. Citizens were expected to pitch in, forming bucket brigades to douse the flames. But the fire proved that this approach was woefully inadequate. In its wake, the first fire insurance company was established, leading to the creation of a professional firefighting force. Now, every time a fire engine roars past, remember that it's part of a legacy born from the ashes of 17th century London. The fire also left an indelible mark on urban planning. The haphazard and congested wooden buildings that had fueled the fire were replaced with brick and stone structures, spaced apart to prevent fires from spreading. The city's narrow and winding streets were transformed into a grid system, a design that's echoed in the layout of many modern cities. And in the heart of London, standing tall, is the monument to the Great Fire of London. A towering column of Portland stone, it's not just a memorial, but a symbol of the city's rebirth. It stands as a poignant reminder of the fire's destructiveness, but also of the resilience and adaptability of London and its people. The Great Fire of London was a transformative moment, a destructive force that led to innovative changes. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to rise from the ashes, to rebuild and reinvent. The fire's legacy is not just in the bricks and mortar of London, but in every fire engine's wail, every city's skyline, and in the enduring spirit of resilience. The Great Fire of London, a destructive force that shaped a city and its future. As we journey through the ashes of history, we find stories that continue to echo in our world today. The Great Fire of London, a catastrophe that consumed a city, is one such tale. Born from a tiny spark in a Pudding Lane bakery, this disaster spread rapidly, transforming London into an inferno. Despite its destructive nature, the fire also served as a catalyst for change. It paved the way for the reconstruction of the city into the London we recognize today, with its planned streets and fireproof buildings. It also spurred advancements in fire insurance and firefighting techniques, shaping the future of urban safety measures. The legacy of the fire is thus twofold. It stands as a stark reminder of the devastating potential of uncontrolled flames, but also as a symbol of human resilience and innovation in the face of catastrophe. And so, we remember the Great Fire of London, not just as a tale of destruction, but as a testament to resilience and rebirth. Until next time, keep the flame of curiosity burning.